Let's make it do what it do today. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is the day that the Lord has made. We are rejoicing and we are glad in it. Happy Tuesday, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you that are joining us live on this beautiful Tuesday afternoon, at least it's afternoon here in Atlanta. If you're at the other side of the world, if you're on the West Coast or somewhere else, I don't know what time it is, but good afternoon. It's 12 o'clock noon Eastern Standard Time here in the beautiful Buckhead community of Atlanta. Today is Tuesday, June the 18th, 2024. You, my friend, are watching the Ramon Preston Show. We come here live on a regular basis to share information with you, especially if you're an entrepreneur, solopreneur, small business owner, leader, and you're looking for ways to properly start, structure, and scale your business. Everything that I share with you on this show, everything that I share on social media is really about helping you take your business, your finances, your investing, your income streams to the next level. So if you are watching me live, do me a quick favor. Please put in the comments what city, what state, what country, where you're watching me from today. I would love to know what city you're representing. I would love to know what state you're representing, what area you're representing. I appreciate all of you for continuing to support our show when we go live, for continuing to support our social media channels, YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe, Facebook, Instagram, X, Threads, all platforms, LinkedIn. You can find me at Ramon Preston, Today, I want to talk to you about how to manage a holding company and its subsidiaries. How to manage a holding company and its subsidiaries. Now, for those of you that are watching me on IG, we're streaming live from my phone, so I'm not able to see any comments or any questions in the chat. You have to go to YouTube or Facebook or LinkedIn if you have a question and you would like the question to show up in front of me on the chat. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you have. If you need to reach out to me and my team, maybe you need some further information about a business idea or something that you're working on, don't hesitate to reach out to us. All the information is in the description of the video. You'll see our contact number that you could text or call. You will see links to free resources that we have. And of course, when you take advantage of those free resources from our university training platform, you will see other programs and courses and services that we offer under our umbrella. So today, I want to talk about how do you manage a holding company and its subsidiaries. How do you manage that? This is one of the biggest challenges that most solopreneurs and small business owners face, especially the ones who pivot into utilizing the holding company concept. I mean, think about it. Let me just paint a picture for you. If you are a business owner and you adopt the concept of utilizing a multi-entity strategy like holding companies, that means you're going to stand at the top of the mountain, okay? You're going to have a holding company that becomes your parent company. We'll say holding company LLC. Then most likely you're going to have certain operational divisions. These are departments that produce certain revenue. It may be certain activities you got going on. It could be high ticket services that you offer, intellectual assets that you package as products and services. And then you're going to have other entities that are under the holding company, which are considered to be subsidiaries. So setting this up is not complicated, okay? It's not complicated to set it up. I mean, just with this example here, you have one entity here. These are not entities here. These are not entities. These are just operational divisions. And then you have a second entity, and a third entity. So just with this example, you pretty much got 3 LLCs. Well, if you know how to set up LLCs, you set up LLC number 1 as your holding company. LLC number 2 and 3 will be owned by the holding company. Now you have a entity structure that gives you the freedom and the flexibility to build your enterprise, okay? Well, the question that I get a lot from people, which is the biggest challenge a lot of solopreneurs have, is how do I manage this holding company and the subsidiaries? How do I manage the day-to-day operations of this? Well, I'm just going to give you 3 simple things that you need to focus on becoming better at if you want to properly manage a holding company and its subsidiaries. And those 3 things are, number 1, you're going to manage it by becoming better at systems. You're going to manage it, number 2, by becoming better at processes. You're going to manage it by, number 3, becoming better with people. This is how you manage a holding company and subsidiaries, or multiple business operations that are taking place under a parent company. You're going to run it. You're going to manage the day-to-day operations through systems, processes, and people. It's just as simple as that. Now, I'll break it down for you so that you can understand what I mean when I say managing a holding company and its subsidiaries is all about getting better at systems, processes, and people. So let's focus on systems first. When I say you're going to manage a holding company and subsidiaries under that holding company through systems, what do I mean? What I mean is you're going to manage this multi-entity enterprise through platforms that house data. That's what a system is, okay? A system is a platform that houses data, however you pronounce it, information. It's a platform, okay? Facebook is a platform. Wherever you're watching me from right now on social media is a platform, okay? The apps on your phone are platforms. These are all platforms. When you go to Amazon to order something, you're going to a platform. But behind those platforms are other platforms that those apps, those companies are using to house data. They want to house data because they want to properly and effectively manage their companies. And they're managing their companies through platforms. So if you're going to be a successful solopreneur, small business owner, and grow it, you have to familiarize yourself and become extremely better at systems, okay? It's all about systems. You have to systematize what you're doing. Now, as a solopreneur, this ain't easy, especially when you got to wear every hat. And I feel you. I understand your plight. I can empathize with you because there was a time I had to wear all the hats. But I understood if I was going to break through and get to the next level, I had to do what I had to do. Even though we do live in a world where you can delegate some of this to people, but you can't expect for people to run and manage your business when you don't understand what's going on. Don't make that mistake as an entrepreneur. Don't think you're going to outsource everything to VAs. You're going to hire people and everybody's just going to do everything you want them to do, and you're just going to sit back and make money as a business owner. It ain't happening. It ain't happening. Now, are there exceptions to that rule? Of course. With anything, there are exceptions to the rule. But you might not be the exception. And most entrepreneurs and small business owners are not exceptions to the rule. So don't go into building a business thinking, oh, I'm going to hire 3 VAs and they're going to do everything for me. And I'm going to pay them pennies on the dollar. And all I'm going to do is just sit back and make money. It ain't happening. For 99.9% of business owners do not succeed doing it that way and thinking it can be done that way. So again, the first key to managing a holding company and its subsidiaries is becoming better at systems. You first got to familiarize yourself with systems, okay? And systems are platforms that house data. So I'm going to break this down a little bit more for you. Number two, you got to become better at processes. You got to familiarize yourself with processes. Now, processes are steps that measure activities and results. So I need systems, I need platforms that house data, but then I need to create steps that I could use to measure all the activities and all the results of my activities. I'm going to have to create processes because, again, if I hire virtual assistants, if I hire real staff members to come into a real building, whatever I decide to do, even if I don't hire nobody, if I'm waking up every day running a business, I need to have systems, which are platforms to house data, and I need to create steps that measure all of my activities. Because again, most of the people that I consult and coach and educate are either employees building a business on the side, or they've moved over to full-time entrepreneurship, but they are most likely solopreneurs that don't have any employees, maybe one or two virtual assistants or something like that, or maybe a spouse helping them. That's the majority of the people that I consult and coach. And a lot of times that type of entrepreneur is not familiar with systems, and they definitely don't understand how important processes are, because in order for them to create processes, that means you have to measure your activities and your results. So that means you can't wake up every day and just wing it thinking that you're doing what an entrepreneur is supposed to do. And the reason why I know this to be true, because I did it for years. I did it for years. I used to wake up every day and rely on my charisma. I relied on my personality. I relied on my energy, my excitement, my stamina, my resilience, until I realized that, yeah, that only gets you a little bit of money. That only gets you so far. At some point, you have to stabilize this thing, bruh, if you're going to be successful long term. And I'm nowhere near where I want to be. So I'm not claiming to be the big dog, all right? I'm not claiming to be the guru that got it all together. I still got that scrapper in me. However, there's no way my wife and I would be full-time entrepreneurs for 21 years and business owners with a legitimate organizational enterprise that continues to thrive and grow. Every year we grow. There's no way we would be able to do it if we did not get to a place to where we understood the importance of systems and the importance and implementation of processes, so that we could measure the activities that we are engaging in every day and the results that we're seeing, okay? So systems, number one, processes, number two, and people, I left this blank for a reason. People, this is critical to managing a holding company and subsidiaries. It's really critical to managing one business, all right? But it's definitely critical if you have multiple entities, multiple business operations, multiple activities. You have to become better at systems, processes, and then people. Why are people critical to managing a holding company? Well, let's not make it plural just yet. People is plural. Okay? Let's use the word person first. Because the first person that has to become better is you. Okay? People begins with you. So you have to take full responsibility for your business idea. You cannot go into business and think you're going to get successful because you believe everybody else is going to figure it out for you. It's not going to happen. Okay? It's not going to happen. And we hear stories about the Mark Zuckerbergs of the world, the Bill Gates of the world. You know, these are the guys and gals, right, who have built major enterprises, and they hire people to do all this other stuff. But what we don't pay a lot of attention to is that, yeah, they are in a financial position now to hire people to do a lot of things. But when they first got started, the nuts and bolts of what they built was because they showed up every day. And they put hours and hours and hours and days and weeks and months and years in to get to a point to where they were making enough money, or they had enough value for future money that they could employ other people and delegate other things to other people. But the core of their business success, the core of the value that brought in lenders or investors or private equity groups and all these different companies, the core of that was because they took responsibility. So none of the systems and processes will be maximized. I'm not going to say they won't work, but they won't be maximized if you ain't in place. Okay? If you are not in place, it's not going to work. So I want you to really wrap your mind around the fact, if you haven't already, that, you know what? I'm going to have to give myself a window to just put the time in and put the work in to figure this stuff out. Now, do you need to become an expert at everything? Not necessarily, but maybe you got to get good enough at everything. And I'm just giving it to you from my perspective, my experience, because I think for most entrepreneurs, I'm a good example of what it takes for you to really create something that could be sustainable long-term and successful over a period of time. Because I didn't have credit when I first started my business. I didn't have financial backing. I didn't have support. Like I didn't have any of that. I didn't have a credit score. I didn't have a credit cards. I didn't have lines of credit. I didn't have equity in a home. I didn't have any of that. So I didn't have people to co-sign for me and give me a lift, or parents to help me with a couple dollars, or none of that. So I think I represent a lot of people who get into entrepreneurship who feel like, okay, I don't have any resources. I don't have money. I don't have any help. I don't have support. But it still doesn't negate the fact. It doesn't take away from the fact that you are the most important person when it comes to the people key to managing a holding company and subsidiaries or business enterprise. It's still got to be you. You have to take responsibility, because I promise you this, whether you bring in virtual assistants, that's VAs, whether you bring in personal assistants, real people in a real building, whether you bring on other staff to help you, it doesn't matter. These people are not responsible for your business or businesses like you are. It ain't their business. So they're never going to be as responsible for your business as you are. It's almost like having a newborn baby, you holding your newborn baby, somebody else comes along, one of them with a newborn baby, and you're telling them, drop your newborn baby and hold my newborn baby, as if that's more important to them. It ain't happening. Now, it doesn't mean they can't babysit your baby. It doesn't mean they can't help nurture your baby, but it's still your baby, if I'm making sense to you, okay? So again, how do I manage a holding company and its subsidiaries? How do I manage this type of business enterprise if that's what I want to put together? If I want to have a multi-entity operation, if I want to have 10 business operations, I want to sell products, I want to provide services, I want to do 20 or 30 different things under one umbrella, how do I manage that thing? Through systems, through processes, and through people. People all begins with you. Now, with that being said, let me erase this. Hopefully you got all the memos. Let me erase this. Now let's look at what areas do you need to have systems, processes, and people in. So we got systems, we got processes, and we got people. And this is your systems, your processes, and your people. They become the core. They become the core for how you're going to manage your multi-entity enterprise. But what areas do I need this core to be in? Well, I'm gonna show you 5 main areas, and I like to simplify it to 5. So let's just say we got 5 areas that stem from these core. Okay, the 3 core. So you're gonna have marketing. That's one area. You're gonna have sales. You're gonna have finance. You're gonna have, I'll use admin. And then I'll use this 5th as executive. So even though I'm giving you like a cram course in just a few minutes on a live show, don't concern yourself if there's information you feel like you're missing, because we have courses that teach all this. We have workshops that we teach all this. We have mentorship programs that we help you throughout the entire 1 year of our mentorship program to engineer all this and to make it all make sense. But I just wanted to at least explain to you, if I'm saying that managing the day-to-day operations of a holding company and subsidiaries, multiple entities, if I'm saying to you that in order to manage that, it's going to require an understanding. It's going to require you becoming better at systems, processes, and people. Now I'm saying when you understand what systems are and how they work in a business enterprise, when you understand processes and how they work in a business enterprise, when you understand people and how they work in a business enterprise, now you need to break that down into specific areas that you need systems, processes, and people for. And these are the main areas of a business. So every business basically has a marketing department, a sales department, a finance department, an administrative department, and an executive department. Okay? Now, when you're able to separate these 5 areas of operation, these 5 areas of activities, these 5 departments, when you're able to separate them, dissect them, you're able to wrap your mind around the fact that if you are a solopreneur, you have no staff, you have no resources, you have no credit, you ain't got you don't have working capital, you don't have anything, right? Let's just say all you have is your holding company, because you're listening to somebody like Ramon, you got LLC set up, then you go set up another 2 LLCs for your business ideas, and now you're ready to rock and roll. And Ramon is saying, okay, well, you need to focus on systems, processes, and people. But if you don't have anybody helping you, guess what? You are the one responsible to manage the day-to-day operations of these 5 areas. And now you might think, this is going to be hard for me. Yes, it's going to be hard, but it's not impossible, because you have to be the chief marketing officer. That's the CMO. You have to be the chief marketing officer. You have to be the CSO, the chief sales officer. You have to be the CFO, the chief financial officer. You have to be the COO, the chief operations officer. And guess what else you have to be? You have to be the CEO, the Chief Executive Officer. And until you can afford to bring other people on, you are responsible for the systems and process relating to these 5 areas that make your business what it is. I hope what I'm saying makes sense to all of you. If you're tracking me so far, I'm sure you can probably feel how much of a responsibility it is. But again, I'm not telling you something I didn't do. Okay? I had to realize at a certain point in my entrepreneurial journey that if I was going to go from being a solopreneur, an entrepreneur who just out here scrapping, hustling, trying to make a couple dollars, if I was going to go from that to becoming a legitimate business owner, I needed to understand systems and processes in these areas. Okay? I needed to delegate the systems and processes to help me build my business even before I delegated people. And I needed to allocate time in each one of these areas so that I'm not lost in the sauce doing stuff as a solopreneur that ain't making my business no money. Because that's where a lot of entrepreneurs, especially solopreneurs, mess up. You a solopreneur, can't nobody tell you nothing. Your spouse can't tell you nothing. You chomping at them every time they ask you about the business because you don't want to be held accountable, right? And now you wake up every day and all you're doing is putting time in certain departments that ain't making you no money. So my question to all of you that are watching me today, if you are just starting out as a solopreneur, you building a business, you get your LLC set up, you get your holding company, you got your EIN, your bank account, your NAV account, your trade lines and all that stuff, what is the first thing you should be focusing on out of these 5? What's the first thing? Now, this is kind of like a trick question because you should be focusing on sales because you need to make money. So that means you got to have products and services to sell, to offer. But you should also, and sometimes equally, be focusing on your marketing because, and I don't even know how to draw a horn, but you should be you should be focusing on your marketing here. This should be social. This should be content. This should be attention, okay? So even though you're focusing on making money, but you also got to kind of be equally focusing on marketing. So that means I can't spend all my time every day looking at my QuickBooks account, looking at my P&L statement. I can't spend every day looking at my administration, my letterheads, my logos, my website, on Fiverr.com trying to get cards printed out. Man, I ain't spending all my time on that. I definitely can't be spending all my time over here as the Chief Executive Officer envisioning the future because I'm a visionary. I can't spend all my time on that when I have the responsibility to run the day-to-day and manage the day-to-day operations of my business. I got to become the CSO. I got to become the Chief Sales Officer. I got to sell. I got to get on the phone. I got to call people. I got to get better at selling. That's what you have to do. Okay? Now, as you get better at this and you bring people on, whether they are VAs, PAs, or other staff members, it's easy for you to start hiring people because you're going to hire people based on making real money. And you should be showing them how to help you do this, or if they're doing some of these other things, they're making it easier for you to stay over here because you might not be able to come off that sales until you got enough money. I mean, I still show up every day with a small team, and all I'm focusing on is sales and marketing. I almost forget these other 3 most of the time because I'm like, hey, I need to make money. I need to get attention. Okay? So that's what you need to focus on. Now, there are times you need to jump over here to make sure your books are correct. Administration, you want to make sure you're providing service, you're delivering on the things that you're saying you're doing, and you want to make sure that you're keeping yourself clear for the vision. But I'm showing you how systems, processes, and people plays into these 5 areas, because now when I start generating sales, I can have a system like a CRM, for example, that houses the data of my sales. I know how many sales that I'm making, but I can also start creating processes. I can start measuring my sales activities, measuring the results. How many phone calls did I have to make before I made a sale? How many emails did I have to send out before someone responded and I set up an appointment and I made a sale? How many presentations did I give? Why is that important? Because now when I have systems and processes, it's easy for me to bring other people in, because I have this thing called KPIs, key performance indicators, to show them if you're over here and you're helping me make sales, you should be able to make a sale after so many calls, after so many appointments, after so many presentations, after so many emails. How can I know that? Because I have processes to prove it. Am I making sense? But nobody's going to create this stuff for you. They may help manage it for you, but you're going to have to initiate this stuff. I used to think other people was going to do some of this stuff for me, until I realized ain't nobody doing it for you until you do it for you, and until you figure out what works for you. And then it's easier to bring people in and show them what your expectations are. And I can create systems and processes for my financial accounting, for my administrative activities, for my executive activities, for my marketing activities, so that anytime I bring people on, even though the first person may be me, anytime I bring people on, I'm not bringing people into something that I'm not clear about. So I hope what I just shared with you makes sense. I know it makes a lot of sense to me. It makes a lot of sense to mentees, clients, and students that I work with. And again, it may sound complicated because you're not learning this and studying it and practicing it every day. But if you just start putting the time in, if you educate yourself on these things, if you take time to learn it and start implementing it, especially if you have a community of people who can support you and work with you and help you, it's going to make life much more easier for you. So today, I just wanted to talk a little bit about how do you manage a holding company and its subsidiaries, because a lot of people are interested in holding companies, subsidiaries, multi-entity empires and enterprises. And that's what I teach a lot of people about, because that's what we primarily do here. But I know the flip side of that is, once you get that set up, you also now have to learn how to manage it. And you're going to manage it through systems, through processes, and you're going to need platforms. Now, I have some recommendations of platforms that are easy to use. Think about those 5 areas I just mentioned. Okay? And I have some links in the description that you could get some resources from. If you need some recommendations, you can take the number in the description, text us, or just reach out to us, and I'll be more than happy to share that information with you. But let's just say if you have those 5, you have sales, you have marketing. This is going to be my last point before we go. You have admin. Let's say you have, what was the other 2 I gave you? You have your executive, and then you have your finance, right? Let's say you have those 5. Let's say those are the 5 areas you want to start building out for your business. All you need is really 2 platforms to track data and house data and track activities. All you need is 2 platforms. All you need is 2. For the finance, all you need is QuickBooks or something similar. QuickBooks covers the finance. So that means if you have a holding company or you have subsidiaries, for every LLC, you just set up a QuickBooks account for that LLC. QuickBooks covers your financial system and a lot of your financial management for your processes, really the financial management side. For your executive activities, things that you do, like your schedule, what you got going on through the week, things that you have to focus on in terms of vision, PR for your company, being the representative for your sales, your marketing, your admin. You can use one platform to cover all this. The platform that I recommend to my students and mentees is monday.com or something similar. That one platform, it has CRM features. So the CRM covers the sales. It has, you could create a whole entire board just to track your marketing, meaning that whatever you're doing on social media, emails, all that data, you can pull it in, bring it into your marketing so that you could track your marketing activities to see what type of results are you getting, what marketing campaigns are working. Your admin, things that you want to track in terms of the administration of your business, the day-to-day activities. Maybe you want to track how many new clients you got in, how many clients you serviced that day, how many people you onboarded in your products or services. You can track that with this same platform, and then your executive activities you can track. So you could track all this on one platform. All it takes is two platforms, and guess what? Just with a platform like Monday and QuickBooks, you can build $1 million business just with those two platforms. So you don't need all this sophisticated bougie stuff to do it, especially if you're not tech savvy. And again, if you need help with those types of platforms, we have tutorial courses inside of our Millionaire Blueprint. We host workshops to show our students and clients how to use this stuff, because I'm telling you, once you clear that clutter of systems and processes up in your business, it frees you up to really start going forward because you don't feel like you all over the place. So I would love to get feedback from y'all. Let me know what you thought about today's show. What was your biggest takeaway? If you have any questions or if you need more information, look in the description, take the number, give me a call. I'll be more than happy to give you any recommendations, any resources. We will conduct a complimentary strategy call over the phone if you just have other questions about your business or the integration of your systems and processes. And we also have free resources inside of the description. We have a link to a free business assessment workbook. And when you click the link, it's going to take you to our university training platform where you can see all the other programs, educational courses, and services that we offer here. So appreciate you all. Thank y'all for joining the show today. Tomorrow's Wednesday. We'll be back. Same place, same time, right here on the Ramon Preston Show. Peace. Have an amazing rest of